Here we are, ladies and gents, in the home turf of Benoni to ride a bike with a bit of an identity crisis. It's the KTM 890 SMT with the SM part standing for Supermoto. So we headed down to the Formula K go-kart track to try out some supermotoring. I'm not much of a supermotorer, so we found someone who is. Veteran racer Jason Vessels.
My background is mainly superbikes. Obviously with the price of racing a superbike now, we've turned a lot to motard. It's a cheaper, exciting form of racing. So we have been doing quite a bit of supermotard and training. You know, I have the training school, so we train Red Star with the superbikes and we train FK with the motards and the smaller bikes.
So what exactly is the SMT? Essentially, under the hood, it's an 890 adventure, with the off-road tackies removed and replaced with a set of 17-inch running shoes. But it still packs that large 889cc parallel twin punch, pushing a mile-eating 104 horsepower and 100 Nm of torque. Of course, this requires some electronic nannying. But then again, this is KTM. Okay, now before we start, I'd like to show you this. We've got a motorcycle, slip adjuster, and look at this. So that's set on 1, that's 0. I can go all the way, watch her. So all the way back to in line, or very out of line, or how much slip do you actually want? You know what, I'm going to go for medium, right about there. You see, a little bit of, Marquez madness, but a slight bit of sanity. Right, let's go. Motorbike time. Apart from that, the motor is a peach, but it often takes more than just peaches to get around a kart track quickly. Oh, that's a very nice motor. A big thundering 890. Oh, listen to it.
It's got a very nice power delivery. It's got a bit of grunt, when it was in the track mode, it had quite a bit of grunt compared to the lower mode. It's leaving black lines coming out of the tight turn there, so it's obviously got a little bit of wheel spin, so it definitely got power. Gearing definitely not suited for this. It needs a lot shorter gearing to get to 3rd and 4th gear maybe. But around a suburb and things like that, I think it would be quite an exciting bike to ride.
Honestly, you do this whole entire track in 2nd gear. First is too low, you just kind of bounce into the corners, and you're going to change gear immediately afterwards. But it's an excellent first gear for getting around town and things like that. And 2nd is just, going through here, this way, that way, accelerate.
With some gearing, this could be an interesting short track weapon. But then we get to the chassis.
The T is for Supermotard Tourer, so a longer track might be more suitable. This is quite tight, it's a lot of braking, change of direction, so maybe the wheelbase is a little bit long for a short track like this. But in general, it was a very comfortable bike to ride around. Now, there's not many bikes you can ride around this track, but I did a fair amount of laps, and besides the arm pump from the brakes, it was quite easy to ride.
The 890 is a bit of hard work around a kart track, but that's not just down to the 194 kilogram dry weight. It also has to do with the stoppage.
And brake. Ooh. Okay, I must point out, these are touring brakes, so KTM have kind of looked at it and thought, well, we can either make them racy brakes or touring brakes. You can't do both. They're either going to have a lot of grip or they're going to do a lot of mileage. I think KTM decided, let's do some mileage instead. Because you come up to a corner like this, you brake hard. You just find with this bike that you're just having to pull the lever a lot harder than what you would be used to.
With the move to 17-inch road wheels, KTM has also lobbed 50mm off the suspension compared to the SMT's adventurous sibling. Of course, this means the SMT is a harder and sportier ride than the Adventure, but does this hold its own on a motard track?
And then of course, it's got suspension that's also, well, they can go very hard for racing, or they could kind of soften it up for touring. They haven't gone for full racing. I won't say they're a complete sponge cake, but there's definitely a touring element there. And this is a little go-kart track, so... Sure. Still, this is a big motorbike.
And so we move on to our overall impressions of the SM part of the SMT. And with that, over to the racer.
If I can say it was very subtle. It's not as aggressive as, say, a 450. Obviously they geared a lot more aggressively and things like that. The suspension's much more rigid on a proper full race super motard. It was a lot of fun, especially when we upped the electronics to the track mode. So it was pretty exciting. I just battled a bit with the brakes and with the soft suspension. Otherwise it was a lot of fun, you know.
And would Jason buy one?
I would if I was a road rider and wanted to commute on it. It would be quite exciting to ride every day. But for the track, I wouldn't buy it.
And what about the slovenly journalist? Would he spend 245,999 on one to spin around a go-kart track?
What I would love is to take this bike around a proper big track. There it'll be a lot of fun. Where I can get out of second gear. That'll be a lot of fun. Not that this isn't fun. I'm having a good time. Although the circuit is very windy. It's very short, very windy. If I'm honest, I'm starting to get a little seasick. Yeah, okay, hang on. That's a little too windy.
So there we have it. The 890 SMT is perhaps a little bit too ship-like for the go-kart track, but on a bigger track it could be good fun. And on the open road, I reckon it will be a gas.